All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another Spin That Shit podcast. We have a badass guest today with us. Nate Hilts of the Dead South is going to be joining us. Super cool dude. Their music is phenomenal. Like, go check them out if you haven't already. They got quite the following. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We got new music coming out. They're getting ready to hit the road and be overseas, running around touring. Highly recommend seeing these guys live. A lot of energy. Just a good time. Go out with some friends, have a few drinks, watch the show, have a good time, and you won't regret it. I promise you. But before we talk to Nate, I do want to say thanks to everyone for subscribing, liking. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course. Please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, all that good stuff to keep this all going. Yeah, there's not much more I can say. There's a lot of doors opening right now. And appreciate all the support. This has been a lot of fun. So let's go talk to Nate.
Hey man, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I think so. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I could be better, but yeah, I'm doing good.
All right.
It's already started out like one of the crazy Fridays. The damn trucks broke down and
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, one of those things. Just made it home and just in time.
Hey, right on. I made it home just in time too, so we're good.
Right on, man. Well, my name's Justin, and thanks for joining me on the podcast here. We're a pretty laid back approach, so want to talk about your new music coming out.
All right.
Normally how we start these though for a first time guest, if you could just give us a little background of how you got started in music and maybe how the band formed.
Yeah, sure. I kind of started music at a pretty young age. Started piano lessons. Wasn't very good, so I quit. Shortly after that, a few years later, I started playing saxophone and guitar. Saxophone I played for just like a couple years and then quit that. Guitar kind of on and off until I was about 20. And then once I was about 20, I moved to Quebec and went to school there, met a buddy, and he was super into guitar, so it got me going again. So I bought a $25 guitar on Kijiji and started playing, and then came home. And once I came home, I met Colton Crawford, who was our banjo player for the Dead South, and we started jamming. And after that, we started forming the band and playing around a lot. So
yeah, that's great. I probably tuned in about 5 years ago when I first probably heard you guys. And I was hooked, kind of when your In Hell I'll Be in Good Company video went viral. I was on that train. On that, I was like, right. Oh yeah. I play a little bit of banjo, so like all my friends around here, there's not that many banjo pickers around here. So they're like, you got to check these guys out. They're in a damn tattoo shop picking. I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah, that video. That was a good
one. So this was, let's see, my wife and I, we go to shows all the time. And this year, it might have been October, I saw you in Indianapolis. That's where I'm from, Indiana. And I did this corny little thing at the end of the year of just like, I was giving awards out to all these different bands that I thought did something great. And I put you guys in like the best live performance category. You guys won it. I need to make you a trophy or something.
We'll appreciate that. Glad you enjoyed the show.
Yeah, it was a hell of a show, man. You guys do a really good job, from start to finish. I mean, it's got the flow of it's real good. You got the real highs and dramatic stuff, and you break it down. I love the breakdowns, by the way. I mean, the people out. I almost felt like I was at a mosh pit at some point,
Yeah. Sometimes it gets there. Sometimes it gets there.
Yeah, that's awesome because I grew up on punk rock and metal and all that shit, so I was digging it. I'd say if I was in a band currently, that would what I'd want, that style. You guys have a great blend of different genres and just enough edginess. It's right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, right.
You guys are getting ready to go on tour, right?
Yeah, Monday.
Flying out overseas?
Overseas, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, starting in Netherlands and Belgium and Scandinavia, and then we're supposed to head into Germany. We're still not sure if those shows are happening yet. We're just kind of just playing it by ear.
Yeah, it's
The
getting a little
German shows.
crazy over there,
Well,
to say the
yeah,
least.
yeah, exactly. I mean, with all that Ukraine and Russia stuff, but this is actually due to COVID still.
Oh, yes.
We aren't sure if they're opening up restrictions or not. So we're just kind of hoping for the best. The other shows are happening, like Switzerland, Scandinavia, Belgium, Netherlands, and Austria, and a few others. But yeah, and the UK is still open too. So yeah, see what
That's
happens.
great. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are out there getting it
Yeah.
done. What do you think is the craziest? You got a crazy touring road story you can share with us?
I don't know. The it's kind of one of those things where you can tell a story, but it's never as good as when you were there.
Yeah, I
It's a
tell
lot of
those too
small
often.
things. Yeah, I mean we're pretty good. Like we like to have a good time, and nothing too crazy though. We've met some weird fucking people. I don't know if I can swear, sorry, but we met
Yeah,
some
you
weird
can. Yeah,
people on
you
the
can do
road.
whatever you want.
We met this one guy who I won't say his name just in case he listens to this, but he sat down at dinner with us, and I think he'll be okay that I said he's weird. Like this is some weird shit. He sat down at dinner with us. He won this contest to have dinner with us before a show, and he sits down and he pulls out this book, and it's like an erotic book of photos that he takes, and I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. And we're kind of passing it around, looking at it. And he goes, yeah. And he's talking about all these like filming endeavors he's been in. And like, there's some tattoos on his wrist of how deep he's gone in someone. And they're like, this is good. This is great dinner talk. Yeah.
It's got like the inch marks and the
Yeah, he
ruler and
does
stuff.
actually. Yeah, he's got it
Oh
notched
my god.
off. So it's, that wasn't crazy, but it was fucking weird. So,
Oh man. Yeah, I'm sure it stays interesting on the road.
mhm.
So, got this new project coming out, right?
Yeah,
What can you tell me about that?
Well, we got two EPs coming out March 4th. They're called Easy Listening for Jerks Part 1 and 2. Part 1 is all traditional and some bluegrass tunes that we decided to throw on there. And then Part 2 is more like you got some punk and some rock, and you got some System of a Down, you got the Doors, you got Misfits on there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so there's a nice little Cold War Kids. It's a nice little eclectic mix going on there. And it was just something that a few years back we were talking about doing some fun little projects just on the side of doing whatever we want whenever we want. It's not a big like album release or anything. It's just something that we want to do to stay, I don't know, have fun. And each one will be a different theme. So for example, this first one's traditional. Second one, it's kind of a little more punk and rock and stuff that we grew up on. Maybe the next one will be full heavy metal. Who knows, kind of stuff like that.
Keep
But
it interesting.
yeah, it'd be very interesting. But number two, each of us picked a song. So four of them were all individual picks, and then we picked one song collectively, and that was Chop Suey, because we warm up to that every day before we go on stage. So
Do you really?
yeah,
That's great. So, which song did you pick individually?
I picked Saturday Night by the Misfits.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
Is that why it's called easy listening for jerks? It's because it's stuff we've all heard before, so it's pretty easy to listen to. We don't have to.
I don't know.
Well, most people. I don't know. That's hard to say.
Yeah,
Not
I mean, right?
everyone's heard the listens to the
Exactly.
Misfits, but
That's generalizing, I guess. I don't know. I think Easy Listening for Jerks just popped in my head one day, and I kind of started laughing. I was like, guys, why don't we call these EPs Easy Listening for Jerks? And they thought it was funny too. So
it's catchy.
yeah, I guess so.
The Doors cover is really good.
Oh, thank you.
I love that version of it. Covers are hard for bands to pull. There's so much expectation,
Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
covers are something that we weren't really comfortable with previously. Like when we started the band, we started out just jamming, and then a song would form. We did very few covers over the years, just because we liked writing so much, and that's what came naturally. So this project was a lot of fun to just try covers, and obviously you try mixing it up, make them sound a little different. What you think might work with it, like "You Are My Sunshine." I put that to minor key because I thought that suited it super well. Will the Circle Be Unbroken? I kept that kind of light and I did some finger picking on that one, which normally I don't do with the Dead South, but that was a lot of fun to do. The Doors. Scott picked that one. Uh, he's like, I really like the song, and I know how much Nate you like the Doors. So I think this is something that would be a lot of fun to do. And yeah, it's been a lot of good learning, and it's been really fun.
Yeah. So what about further on out than that? What about an actual, other than EP, like a full album release? Have you guys even started on that kind of project yet, or just writing? Or
Yeah, been writing for sure. Basically, I think what the plan is right now is we're still trying to finish a tour that we started like over 3 years ago. So
I know the show
yeah,
I went to, I had those tickets for almost 2 years, I think.
exactly. Right. And I think we started that tour like a year and a half or so before that, even. So we were trying to make our way through on this like 2-3 year tour. And then COVID hit, knocked us out for 18 months. So we're playing catch up. So I think the idea is now to play catch up until I think January. Our last potential bookings are in January. And then we'll start writing and like finishing some stuff, and then probably start recording shortly after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm a taxidermist.
Oh, right on.
That's my job. I work for my father-in-law. So when I'm at work, me and my buddy, one of my best friends, works side by side with me, and we jam you guys all day long.
Yeah, right on. Nothing like
Makes the time go by when you have to sit there and sew the tedious shit.
oh yeah, I can only imagine.
But
It's an interesting trade. I've always wondered about that, like what the process is for all of that.
yeah, it's not like what people normally think. It's not like formaldehyde or anything like that, embalming, or it's literally you just take the skin, put it in some chemicals, and turn it to leather. So I'm just working with leather and foam, glass eyes, so it's nothing like crazy. With I don't know, the movies portray us pretty bad. I'm like Norman Bates over here.
Everyone's a psycho, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You guys should write a song about
You might have to, man. Yeah,
that.
it's not a bad idea.
That's great. um what are some other influences that you might have? Anything out of the realm? Like you mentioned saxophone, so it was like you got some jazz influence in you and other things like that. That's a little different.
Well, not, for me, not so much jazz. I never like saxophone. I just played in the school band a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um, but the influences in music are kind of what I grew up listening to. It's pretty vast. Like I always throw these examples up because they stick out, but it's like Meatloaf and Neil Diamond and like CCR on one end, and then we got some nice old country on the other end, and then you got some heavy metal. I had a really big Doors phase growing up, Zeppelin. Then I got really heavily into punk for a while, and I got into that grunge phase a little bit too, like just all over the place. And then Danny comes in with he's really big into like kind of indie music, and then classical music. He's got a lot of that there. Colton comes in as like a big metalhead,
Oh,
transferred over
really?
to banjo. Yeah, transferred to banjo, which transferred super well. Scott was a metalhead growing up, and then he was kind of a singer songwriter for a little while before he joined us. So there's a big realm of music that everyone just kind of pulls from and
Right.
smush it together.
That's why it works so well for you guys, I think. Yeah, that's the funny thing about like bluegrass music and that fast driving picking and stuff. I mean, that's just folk metal. That's all. That's what people, always say. And I was like, sure enough, I think it is.
Well, hell yeah! I mean, they took traditional music and they made it faster and more intricate, and they started singing about a lot of hard times. And
Yeah.
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 Actually, bluegrass and folk music in parts of like Eastern Europe was like if you listen to it, it was like a form of revolt listening to Western music. Like it was they weren't
So
supposed to
that
do it. Yeah,
it's definitely punk over there.
yeah, exactly.
Here in Indiana, I'm about 30 minutes north of Bean Blossom, which is Bill Monroe's music park.
Ah, cool.
They still have the longest traditional bluegrass festival every year there. It's pretty cool. It's definitely a throwback going there, and the Bluegrass Hall of Fame is there in the woods.
Oh, shit.
And they got some cool pieces in there. I try and make it every year, whether or if work permits it. So, yeah, man, I can't say a good, enough good about you guys. I love what you're doing. I just don't know, really, like, I don't know. You're probably in my top 5.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a sip of beer. Let it flow. Let it flow.
Yeah. So when you guys got started, where started just playing like dive bars and that sort of thing.
Yeah, anywhere from
I just feel like your success like kind of went at a rapid pace, probably more. I mean, you guys have been around for like 10 years, right?
10 years now, almost 10 years. Yep.
I feel like your progression just kind of took off faster than what a normal pace band would to be at what your guys' level is right now. What do you think that's from? Is that
I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a few things. Like when we first started, we were jamming in basements and garages and playing at people's cabins and just kind of started there. Our goal was to play at a bar in Regina here. That was kind of our end goal. So, we'd play like parties and play the open mic nights and stuff. And then finally we started playing the bar scene. And that happened pretty fast. I mean, within our first 5 shows, we started playing in like another province and we kind of got the taste for touring, I guess, pretty early on. And it was like, man, this is super fun. So we just kept rolling with it. We liked doing it. We liked playing. We liked meeting people and just seeing what could happen. And it was super cool that way because we, as a band to start out, usually you have to go and book your own gigs. But we were getting lucky. People were calling us and emailing us to come play. We're like, hey, our friend said, oh, we heard of you guys, so why don't you come play? So we started
kind of
doing that.
snowballed?
Yeah, it was great. We played for free a lot in the beginning just to really just get out there. And then within a year and a half, we went to Toronto to play at Canadian Music Week for this music conference. And this German dude was there named Jorg Tresp. And he caught our show and he's like, I like you guys. Come to Germany. Let's be on my label. So we did that. And we started hitting Germany and Europe all the time. So between that and just like, so we got Canada, a little bit of Western Canada on lockdown. And then we started getting, Western Europe on lockdown. And that was the word of mouth started spreading pretty good. And then In Hell Being Good Company, once we released that video, that took off like wildfire there in a lot of places. And yeah, it just kind of kept growing and growing and growing. So I think between that and just like, you know, the style of music we don't really know what to call it. I mean, it's kind of a cliche thing. Well, we're just music, man. But like, we just combine so many different things. We don't know where to put ourselves. And I think people enjoy that too,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the common thing that people just want to, when it's like that for a band, they just say it's Americana.
Right.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's pretty like plain to say. It's easy.
Yeah.
That's an easy way out.
Yeah. It's very general, right? I mean, like, what is Americana? Is that folk? Is that bluegrass? Is that, kind of bluesy music? Who knows? Like, yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah.
So who came up with the choreography of the finger snaps and the dancing and all that?
It was definitely Colton who came up with the idea to start choreographing. I think he probably came up with some of the moves too, with a little bit of our own flavor and stuff. So yeah, and then that just progressed into other stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like you were at the live show, like we do a little bit in like Bastard Son and a couple others, just some stupid things to keep us entertained as well. So
Definitely
yeah.
got to keep it fresh out there on the road.
Mhm.
That's what I like about your guys' music. You have songs that are, serious songs and people can take you seriously about your music, but you also are having fun. You have some quirkiness. Banjo Odyssey, I think, is hilarious, things like that. So you can just tell you guys are just having a blast doing what you're doing.
Mhm.
And I think that translates pretty well and people just love it.
Yeah. Well, I hope that's the case because we definitely are having a good time, and that's kind of the point of the show too. It's like you got to think of it like a night off. It doesn't matter what you're thinking that day, no matter what your feelings are in general towards anything. Come and have a good time and just leave
Yeah,
feeling a little bit relieved or something.
definitely. Yeah, I didn't have any cousins that were cute enough to kiss. Kissing
Yeah, that's
cousins
fair.
and
Yeah,
shit.
kissing cousins, man. Yeah.
Uh, I got a couple quirky or just flyby questions that people answer. The first one is, um, if there was an artist you could work with, who would it be? And that could be either musician or a producer or someone behind the scenes or whatever.
Mm. Alive?
Some of the guests I give both, one dead and
Yeah.
one alive.
That's a really tough question. I mean, obviously, it would have been great to. I think it would have been really cool to meet Roger Miller and
Yeah,
kind of pick his brain a little bit. And I think that guy had a wealth of knowledge that would be really worth picking. I'm a big fan of that guy. I've always wanted to meet Willie Nelson. I think that would be super cool. I know the guys have always talked about working with like Rick Rubin or something as a producer because that would be just
that'd be
such.
insane.
That would be right. I mean, he's worked with such cool bands and they've done such amazing things there. Uh, I don't know, like that's such a that's such a tough question because there's so many amazing people out there have
Yeah,
like who have passed and are still out there that are just would be so fun to work with. We did some stuff with Coulter Wall earlier on.
yeah,
Um,
yep.
when
Big
we were
fan of
first,
Coulter.
yeah, he's fantastic. When we were first starting out, he was just coming up, and he's from Saskatchewan here, so he uh he opened up for us a couple of times, and then he got us to me and Scott to sing on Johnny Boy's Bones with him
Yeah,
and stuff. But it'd be awesome to do something with him again, just to see what could happen.
yeah. How far are you from him there in Canada?
2.5 hours.
Two and a half.
He's in Swift Current, but I guess he's a little further out now, so he's probably more like 3-ish now.
Yeah,
Yeah, to the west.
I've never been to Canada.
Yeah.
I tried to sneak in over there at by Niagara Falls. I didn't have a passport; they wouldn't let me through.
Yeah, it's not like the old days where you could just show your ID and cross back and forth. Now these borders are a lot harder.
Yeah. Uh, the second one is, if you could wake up tomorrow and have an instrument mastered, what would it be?
Hmm. Great question. Because obviously, like mastering a guitar would be really nice, but I feel like if you went somewhere further, that you would be able to master a guitar as well. I don't know. I think the cello is an incredible instrument. I would love to wake up tomorrow and just know how to saw off on a cello.
Yeah,
I think that'd
that
be super cool.
yeah. There's so much you can do with the cello.
Yeah, I mean, and the way it sounds literally like a person sometimes, like just singing, like wailing away. It's gorgeous.
See, what was the other one I had picked out? Uh, what would you say is just a good ass night for you? Like, what are you going out with friends, or just chilling at home by a bonfire, or just describe like the perfect evening for you?
Perfect evening. I think that could start with going out for a nice bite to eat, maybe, unless you're going to a buddy's place or you're cooking something nice, like smoking something on the barbecue, or just having a good meal together, having some drinks. A fire is definitely included. Some good weather is definitely
Yes,
good.
we need that right now.
Yeah, well, do we ever, man? Um, I think a good night is just hanging out with friends, not so much going out, but like being somewhere comfortable where you can do what you want, have a fire, play some music, just
Yeah,
everyone having a good time, usually with some
yep,
stars out. Yeah.
that's me too. Right there with you. Um, Beatles or Stones? We
Ooh.
used to ask this one a lot.
Well, I've definitely listened to the Beatles more, more extensively than the Stones. I know a lot more of the Beatles, and there are some absolute bangers there. However, in saying that, I'm a huge fan of the Stones' earlier stuff. They get pretty dark, and they
Yeah.
play with some cool sounds. Um, shit, that's a tough one. I mean, I might just have to go with the Beatles because their catalog is just so extensive.
Yeah, there's something for everyone in there.
There really is. Yeah.
They definitely pushed the limits and got experimental, and then they also brought the ballads and brought, they had some blues
Love
and they're
songs,
definitely rock and
everything, man.
roll.
Yeah, that's
They just
right.
covered it all. Yeah, my buddy that used to jump on this podcast with me, he couldn't do it anymore just because of scheduling and his work, and it was just too hard. But we would keep a tally. He was more of a Beatles guy. I was more of Stones just because of more of the rock and blues mix.
Right. Yeah.
I think what it came down to is like listening and enjoying the music for what it is. We were more in the Beatles realm.
Right.
But when it came to just like going to a live show, rocking out sort of thing, when I'd rather see the Stones just rip it.
That's a good way of putting it because I mean, I saw the Stones in like I don't know, 2005 maybe. I think I was 15. I didn't drive there. I took the city bus. It was really good. And then I saw Paul McCartney in like 2007, and that was good. Obviously, not the Beatles because it's just Paul McCartney, and that was also really good. But the Stones, it's much more of a show. Like they're out there, like Mick Jagger's still sprinting around, jumping, and
Man,
all
I probably won't have that much energy in the next 5 years.
well, I heard that he's been sober for a long time, from my understanding. But also, like I hear that, like he goes for runs, and as he's going for runs, he sings the whole time to like work on
Really?
the endurance of being able to, jump around and still sound good and have the endurance to do it. Because honestly, man, when you're like like kicking around stage and stuff, you lose, you get short of breath.
I
It is hard to sing, and you go to like Colorado or anywhere where the altitude's higher. Even if you're not doing that, you're
You
just
can
sucking it
tell.
in. Yeah.
Dang.
We were playing in Aspen on that same tour as that Indianapolis one, and I was just getting a headache the whole time because I just like couldn't catch my breath.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's some songs you're really getting down on it. You're kicking the drum and the,
Oh yeah,
tambourine, and
Camry.
yeah, that's a workout.
Oh yeah,
Don't need a
absolutely.
gym membership at all.
Uh,
Oh shit. Well, I got one more for you, then we'll cut you loose. I know you're probably busy. It's a Friday night. This came up last minute, earlier today. I was like,
yeah,
yeah,
no.
let's do it. Uh, what would you say is the best thing about all this? Like, what are you most proud of about this music? Are you just being a part of the industry and leaving your mark on it, or is there more to that? Or I know it's a heavy question, but I always like to ask it.
uh, yeah, I think being a part of it is pretty cool. Now, what that means exactly is you can take that for how it is because, like, you know, we've we've won some awards here and there. Like, I don't know what that means at the end of the day, really, because awards are just like a judged thing by some people. I think the most proudest thing that I can say is that I'm super happy and proud that people come out to our shows and they sing along with us and they're having the best time ever. And on top of that, like some heavy stuff here, some people have confided with us, like, like they were ready to die and they don't want to anymore because they heard our music. And I think that
Wow.
that's very special and it's very heavy. And, like that goes a long, long way. Cause I mean, that music industry, they can spit you up and,
Oh
they'll chew you up
man,
and spit you out in no time, but your fans won't. The
that's
ones that
true.
really care about your music and what you're doing and have understanding that you're just a human being, that goes a
Hmm.
long way. And those are the kind of people that we like to see come out and everything. Like we have this this is actually awesome. We have a Dead South fan club online, and they are some of the nicest people I think I've ever seen converse with one another. Like there's
Well, it's
they
like
just
a
want to. Sorry, what?
family. It's like
Yeah,
family on there.
exactly. It
Everybody like
is.
they have that common interest and they're just linked.
Yeah, that's the thing, and they'll like meet up and They come out and they'll share all their stories online, and everyone's so happy for one another, and they care about
Yeah.
one another. And I think that that's really cool. It's creating a, you know, we got this like band of misfits just running around with us. It's good.
You guys definitely, I'm one of them. You have that cult like following. It's not like, I heard a couple songs, they're pretty good. It's like, if they like you, they're all in. Like they like everything that freaking gets put out there. They're trying to go to every show or buy the merch. And
Oh,
yeah,
and that's fucking cool.
you should get T-shirts that says "The Dead South is a cult" and start selling them.
There you go. This is a cult. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, man, I appreciate your time. Hell, next time you're in Indy or whatever, hit me up.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you making it, even though you had some truck problems and everything. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm getting ready to go do next.
well,
I'm
best of
not
luck,
looking
man.
forward to it on a Friday night.
It'll work out.
I got a short story for you. Speaking of truck problems, I just got back from Arkansas. We broke down in a national forest. I don't know, a few hours from anywhere really. Call AAA. They said we can't help you. Call the police. Like, why? What do we pay for
What do you mean AAA wouldn't help you? That doesn't make any sense.
at all? And then they said, well, it's only good. You're only good for about 3 miles, and they charge you every mile after. I'm like, we're literally hundreds of miles away from a town.
So you're paying for an emergency service that won't come and help you.
No. And this is when
AAA,
that ice storm hit a few
smart
weeks
enough.
ago down there.
Oh, jeez.
It
That
was pretty
would be,
comical.
yeah, that would be comical. But it's like that's so upsetting. Like that could have been dangerous, man.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
Well, you can
Website?
find us on Instagram. Uh, just search up the Dead South. You can find us on Facebook, the Dead South, or on our website, thedeadsouth.com.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
All right, Nate. Appreciate it once again. And we'll have to do this again sometime when we come out with another record.
Hey, sounds good, man.
So, good luck overseas and be safe.
Thanks, man. You too.